What up, guys? How are you?
Doing great.
How busy is the airport right now down there in NOLA?
Busier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I was kind of warned. It's not bad, but it is pretty busy. I got here at like 4:30 their time.
Oh, geez.
So,
what time did you get up? 3?
3:30.
Wow.
Oh, my
Because you have to beat the alarm to wake when you wake up, right?
Right,
so
right,
the alarm was set for 4, but you get paranoid when you're in a hotel.
Oh, you get anxious.
You don't want to miss the flight.
Yeah.
No.
That's me every single night, JK. All right, so just kind of give us your takeaway. 20-19 win. It got very dicey. We'll talk about the controversy there at the end, but 20-19 win on the road. Even though it's a bad team and you were facing backup quarterbacks, it's not easy to win. It's not easy to win on the road.
We had the ball for 40 minutes.
Yeah, they just couldn't put them away there in the second half. Outscored 19-6.
Yeah, and I guess so. There's a couple ways. First of all, you got to finish better, and if you want to do something, you have to finish better. That said, they're 9-5. They beat a team they should beat, and they're in good position for the playoffs. And it's funny because I know obviously it wasn't pretty at the end, and there were a couple misconnections between Jayden and Terry McLaurin that could have made the game different. Plays that they often hit, and it would have looked a lot different, right? And then you hold them at the end. But again, 9-5, and I think I don't blame people if they think like that was just an ugly win, that wasn't great, blah blah blah. They won 4 games last year. They haven't won 9 games since 2016. So I think it's good for people to feel disappointed, or not even disappointed, but a little like, after a win, because it's certainly better than feeling like that after a loss.
No, for sure. And there was a lot. I mean, I still think there was a lot of good. I mean, I thought Jayden was very solid. Too many sacks. I don't know what was going on there. But I think not having Biotish probably contributed a little bit.
A little bit.
They brought some pressures that, I give them credit. I mean, we were kind of like on our heels a lot. Jayden trying to find a little room to maneuver. But some hell of a plays he made, especially obviously the run on 3rd and 14. That was massive. The throws to McLaurin in the end zone, those are great. As a fan, a little disappointed the way it ended, but just thrilled at the end of the day that they pull it out. Because you know what? It has to be reminded that it is a week-to-week league, and oftentimes these performances, they don't really carry over. Like it's a whole new day next week.
It's very much, and it's funny because if you watch college football on Saturday and then you watch this on Sunday, the mentalities have to be different. Like, as an Ohio State fan, I measure every game by, is that good enough to win a national championship, right? So every game you watch, and so like there are a lot of times they might win by 3 touchdowns. You're like, that was not good enough. But in the NFL, it's like the goal is get that W, go on, because you don't know. And like every week you see games where it's like, wait a minute, where did that come from? And how did that team win? It's kind of like the NBA. Like you can have a bunch of guys out and you still have NBA guys coming in who can get hot and beat you. So, like, you do have – it is difficult. And that's not to make – like, listen, again, they need to close out better, and they know that. And the defense needed to play better at the end there, right? But, yes, it is hard to win. And I think if you're a Washington fan, you more than anybody should know how hard it is to win in this league, because these are the games they've lost for years, right? So I think, I just 9-5, 7th spot in the playoffs.
Great spot to be in.
And whether or not, like, and I know some people are like, well, they're not going to, you hear from people like, they're not going to do anything in the playoffs. Well, maybe not, but like, did you think they were going to make it?
Right.
I mean, and I think the other thing, like, they're outside of the Dallas game, they're really beating the teams they should. And that's to me a first step in all of this, right? Beat the teams you should, and then build your roster to beat those other teams.
Yeah, I was frankly, because I've been so used to it, I was just kind of assuming they would convert the 2-pointer and have to explain this one away for a week. But they they didn't. They held out, and part of that, I think, and it's hard to understand the impact when they don't even challenge Marshawn, but to not even go his way, that's pretty darn impressive, and that could be pretty helpful down the stretch, I would think.
Well, for sure, and I think again, what I'm curious to see is like even this week matching up against an A.J. Brown, guys like you have Drake London in 2 weeks, you have CeeDee Lamb in a few weeks, so like seeing him match up against guys like that, yes, is going to be crucial. Then you have like if you're in man, you have Quan Martin who can cheat to the other side, et cetera. So I think that is I mean, you're right, like. You almost forgot that he was there sometimes because, like, oh, yeah, this is Marshawn's debut because he didn't have to do anything.
Right.
And that's a credit to him. And, but I think the disappointing part is that they still were giving up these big plays and for a variety of reasons. It wasn't just always on the corners. But yes, I mean, that's what they had hoped to get from him. I mean, he's a really good corner.